Like many people today, YouTube played a massive role in how I got into music, be it first encounters with Golden Age pianists, obsessive comparisons of different nocturne renditions,
Ketchup,
discovering strange and wonderful corners of contemporary repertoire, or falling into that cosy Scriabin rabbit hole for the 15th time. YouTube was the catalyst. But a few performances stood out and ended up having a profound, long-lasting effect on my musical taste, my repertoire choices, and even my own compositional language. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the absolutely iconic performances that changed my life and got me hooked on piano music. For those just embarking on their piano journey, it's only a matter of time before you come across Rachmaninoff, the figuratively and literally towering composer-pianist behind many of the repertoire's most beloved works. His epic G minor Prelude is one such work, and it was Emil Gilels' masterful interpretation that became one of my first musical obsessions. This interpretation isn't the fastest or the flashiest. Gilels takes a measured tempo. He presents rhythms faithfully, without stylistic overdotting. He invariably cushions the bass line with liberal sustain, a soft mallet as opposed to hard perhaps. There are no extravagant ear-grabbing effects. What Gilels offers though is crystal clear textural transparency, with every voice distinctly coloured, and an equally clear sense of musical line, especially impressive given the fragmentary and acrobatic material. I remember my bewilderment when I heard the middle section. All those massive chords, but the softest and most delicate melody. Then there's that moment where Rachmaninoff calls for additional tenor and alto lines right in the thick of it. Gilels executes this better than anyone. You'd swear you could hear a third hand reaching over to play those other voices. As a teenager with only a year or so of playing under my belt, I was inspired to have a crack at this piece. Let's just say my technique, particularly my wrists, weren't quite up to it. Is there a more iconic piece than Für Elise? But ask yourself, when was the last time you actually listened to it? Not in a movie, an advert, or a meme? Really listened? Yeah, me neither. Well, go and listen to Pogorelich. The ornate setting, meticulous outfit, the grainy footage, it gives the performance a sort of historical weight, which frankly it would deserve anyway. Pogorelich plays with poise and subtlety, which to me is what this bagatelle is all about. Knowing looks rather than on-the-nose statements. But that's not to say he doesn't let Beethoven's infamous rage creep in. That later episode, with the repeated note bass line, has a particular bite to it. It makes the dreamy upward arpeggio and downward chromatic scale all the more goosebump-inducing, as if the lid is being placed firmly back on the emotional bottle. Like the Gilels performance, this one also left me bewildered. The camera angle gives you a perfect view of what might be the most elegant and beautiful technique I've ever seen. It's a cliché, but Pogorelich really does caress the keys. Go and listen to the whole thing and see if this performance doesn't refresh that hackneyed old bagatelle. Next up, we have Arthur Rubinstein's performance of the evocative Ritual Fire Dance by De Fire. Just watch this. Rubinstein had a unique gift for connecting with audiences. He didn't just play the notes on the page, he fully embodied them. The trills at the beginning, he strikes them as if he's lighting a match. And those syncopated chords, they're actually marked pianissimo, by the way, but he sells it, his elaborate choreography calling to mind rhythmic, ecstatic dancing, fueled by God knows what. And his 1,000-yard stare, it draws you fully into his world, and what a thrilling place it is to be. I tried to play this piece early on too, and again, it's just an absolute wrist killer, especially if you're trying to imitate Rubinstein's unique approach. Scriabin has always been a special composer to me, and that's thanks in large part to Richter's earth-shattering performance of the Fifth Sonata. When I first heard it as a teenager, I was a bit shocked, and I'm not quite sure I got it. Crucially, however, I felt there was something to be got with this music, something really special. So I kept listening, and sure enough, I fell in love with it. This is my favourite period of Scriabin's, when he's well on his theosophic journey, but he hasn't quite let go of functional harmony. Chords are jazzified with sevenths, ninths and 13ths galore, but there's still a faint tonal orbit, which to my ear gives the music clearer structural definition, greater tensions and in turn, greater climaxes. This piece shows off every aspect of Richter's pianism, his full singing tone, on display during those eerily soft opening measures. Then there's his sense of architecture and structural pacing, especially crucial in the piece's second half, which amounts to one steady build-up to an ecstatic finale. His raw virtuosity, best exemplified by the ending. Just when you think he might be at his limit, he somehow goes up a gear, sending the music into the ether. Blazing white light, disintegrating earthly matter, or whatever this piece is about. I suspect the next performance is responsible for many people falling in love with piano music, and Chopin in particular. Krystian Zimerman's performance of all 4 Chopin ballades. These are among the most poetic, polished, and moving performances of these masterworks. They were the best possible entry point for me when I was first discovering this music. I still listen to them today, and they still reduce me to a puddle every single time. There's not enough time to explore all 4 in sufficient depth, so I'll offer a personal highlight from each performance. It would be easy to choose the coda from the first ballad, but instead I'll single out the transfigured second theme, bejewelled with an expansive waltz accompaniment and a chordal melody that would make Rachmaninoff blush. Zimerman conjures a fittingly orchestral sound here, with thundering bass and a soaring octave line, immensely powerful and yet always impeccably shaped. I love how he lingers in certain places. The initial transformative 7th chord, the theatric octave jump, or that final ascent to half-diminished disaster. He knows exactly when to let the music breathe. For the second ballad, I have to go with the coda, particularly the end of it. Chopin wrote many anguished codas, but this one is unique in that it refuses to resolve. The torrent just never lets up, building and building with dense writing that anticipates stormy sections of the next ballad. With nowhere left to go, the music rises chromatically through diminished 7th harmonies, culminating in a French 6th chord which snuffs everything out. But here's the touch of genius. With no transition or preparation, the pastoral first theme emerges quietly from the rubble, its true minor key nature revealed. Like the previous performance, Zimerman summons an enormous sound. Those avalanching chordal figures have such weight to them, and when he eventually gets to that pivotal moment, the harrowing French 6th, he immediately brings in the pastoral theme, faithfully observing Chopin's notation of a mere quaver rest, and executes the most chilling juxtaposition. Zimerman plays that final reprise devoid of emotion, as if the music itself is shell-shocked. The third ballad contains one of my all-time favourite passages, that central episode in which Chopin seems to hit the pause button on compositional logic and simply lets the music take flight in swirling, ribbon-like arpeggios. Zimerman artfully prepares the unexpected flattened submediant modulation, bringing out that E natural just before it melts beautifully into E flat. We're then treated to his mesmerically fluid legato, which he intersperses with a more articulated tone, such as for the dramatic B-flat minor scale later on. It's a masterclass in touch, rubato, and everything, really. Lastly, we have the fourth ballad, one of my absolute favourite pieces, and I have to single out another transfigured theme moment, the miraculous apotheosis of the second subject towards the end. Zimerman is just sublime here. The gossamer left hand which swirls upward, the sensitively voiced occasional dialogue between soprano and alto, and the architecturally masterful pacing. Zimerman creates an almost painful build-up, with ever-intensifying climaxes which I guarantee will result in that puddle scenario I mentioned earlier. Okay, enough words. Just listen. Well, that turned into a bit of a Chopin rant by the end. Easily done. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the performances that really set me on my path and got me to where I am today. It probably goes without saying, but if you'd rather just listen to the performances without my inane yapping, then you'll find all the links in the description below. But now I want to hear from you. What are the performances, the pianists, the pieces that got you into this amazing stuff? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.